Hello everybody, this is Maniac 4 Bricks, and being the Bionicle nerd I am, you knew this review was coming at some point. This is set number 8593, Makuta from Bionicle. This was released in 2003, has 199 pieces, and originally retailed for $20 in the United States. Offhand, this is probably one of the best value piece to price ratio sets that I can think of. I'm sure that there are some that are a little bit better than that, some that probably have more pieces and a better bang for your buck, but this is one that's really close to it because a lot of times Technic pieces and Bionicle pieces kinda, outweigh the price. But I thought since this is the set about somebody who lurks in the shadows and has a mask of shadows, I would do the review in the complete dark. So you'll excuse me 1 second. Actually, that almost looks a little bit better. Hold on. Actually, I don't even know what to feel about that. No, it's a review. I should really keep the lights on and give this guy a blinding for his life. For those who don't know Bionicle, this is your big daddy. This is the guy throughout the entire run of Bionicle, Generation 1 up to, 2010, that everybody is after. This is a guy who wants to basically take over the entire universe. He does pretty good. He's pretty cunning, pretty crafty, but I won't get too much into the character with him now. Just wanted to give a little bit for those who aren't really familiar with Bionicle or older Bionicle. So, in the Generation 2 to 2015 or so, they dumbed him down a lot, and even here he's kind of dumbed down. This was 2003. This was, at the time, a remarkable set, because, oh my gosh, you get the villain of the entire story as a set. That's awesome. It was a really big reveal. It was really awesome for Bionicle fans, but nowadays, I don't know why people still overprice this thing online. I mean, yeah, he's popular because he's the main villain, but he's really not that much of a good set in retrospect. For example, this whole time he's been leaning to the side on in some kind of pose. And you know why that is? Because one of his play features towards the back is that you can turn this knob and give a swinging motion back and forth with him. Okay, cool. That's something that some of the other sets did at the time, so it was not too bad of a feature to incorporate, and to add a couple more building techniques with Technic parts in here to beef it up more. The problem is, it's a loose connection. Not saying that the parts are manufactured loose, but that there's no friction in those pieces. It's like the tan half pins. Like, if it was these blue ones on the side, it would be much more sturdy. It would take a little bit more effort to turn, but you would get it in a pose as you would want it, instead of just rolling back to one side or the other. So, unless I just turn the turntable real fast, you can see, like, the body moves pretty much on its own, rocking around. So, I'll get into fixing up the set a little bit later, but I just wanted to point out, it's a cool play feature, but it needs some improvement. I really do like the detail along this figure. It has a really lot of gunmetal parts, a lot of gunmetal armor on the sides, wrapping around to the back a little bit, even down to the feet, does pretty well, and it uses more than just Bionicle pieces, it uses Technic pretty well, integrating both of those. And I also do like how they use a new style of hands along here, because a lot of Bionicle figures up to this point really just had these ball ends as hands, just like that. Kind of, not significant for somebody this guy, of his stature and his meaning. So they gave him these are actually masks in another set, but in this set they serve as his hands and to give a nice claw-like look to them. If you ignore some of the pins, you can actually see that as being like he's holding it, and he's, holding his staff and gonna use it. Cool. Kind of simple on the staff, though. I would recommend a little bit more adding on to here, but they are new pieces, so they were nice for the time. It is also nice that he has some more articulation along the arms, where you can actually move around the elbows, which is something that, up to this point, not a lot of Bionicle sets had. Just in retrospect, it's kind of, already done a lot, so not too bad, but not much in retrospect. I also do like that aside from the gunmetal gray he has on him, the dark gray and red is a good color scheme. It's integrated pretty well throughout all the different parts, even in the head a bit, and it doesn't stand out too much in any given area except for the middle. But I think it looks okay for the most part. Again, I'm sure there are some people that have modified this to make it a lot more intimidating and to give it more gunmetal feel, which I think looks a little bit better. But even for dark gray, you get the idea. Dark gray figure usually is a bad guy. Usually. I say that because 1 out of 6 of the heroes are dark gray and black. So, yeah. So anyways, you also have a bit more posability with the legs. So you can move each of these legs on ratcheted joints, which were previously used in Bionicle. So nice reuse of them there. And it got a lot of range of motion. Problem is, there aren't a lot of ways to pose those legs. And I say legs, not feet, because it's all one assembly. You really can't move the feet independently of the legs. So if you move the entire thing like this on the hip, you can't really pose the rest of it below that. You think that Ninjago, is like Kai's mech or something recently that has no leg articulation is bad? Yeah, they didn't really figure that out all that much in 2013. And this is a Titan model. This is one that's meant for bigger posability, bigger size. They needed work on that too. We'll talk about that a little bit too. So, aside from that, kind of a cool look. The mask is also pretty good. For the time, it was a brand new mask. It was, a pretty important mask as well as the important figure. And what's special about this is you have a ball joint moving the head around. Something that not a lot of figures had up to that point. And again, in retrospect, a lot of figures do have that. So, big whoop. But you can also flip this mask around to an alternative mask, which is used in one of the combo models, if I'm correct. I never fully understood that, but I think it's supposed to be for an alternative model. It's another mask, whether or not you want to use it for a combo build, which we'll also get to in just a little bit. I think this guy's pretty well covered all the way around. It does have a few gaps here and there, kind of awkward area in the waist where it's like, yes, you gotta allow for swifting back, or, moving back and forth, but it also looks kind of gappy when you look at it from the side and you see like this weird, I don't know what it's doing with the body, but there's just a big area in the middle that's just missing. What's also cool about this set, before we get to, actually, let's get to the back again. Because, like I said, yeah, for the most part, he looks good from the back. They covered up for some of the shoulder armor. Got this nice crest on the middle and on the feet. Looks pretty good. But you also have another play feature in this set, and that is with 3 areas along the body. Makuta is a creator of some different creatures that wreak havoc on the island of Motunui up to this point. So in the same year, they released these 6 creatures called Rakshi, which are actually parts of him. That's why you'll see a lot of reuse of those kinds of colors, or not colors, curving pieces along him in different colors. So these you can easily open up just by tapping on the ball joints, and this one just need to lift it up like that, and then lift it on this side as well, and you could actually store the creatures inside of there, the creatures of the time, that go with those other sets. So it's a good way to integrate those sets with this figure. And also, I kind of like how some of the pieces for the staff and the hands are also similar to, the hero that would be at this point also released. So it has a little bit more of balance between those, even some of the shoulder armor is like that too. So, I mentioned before that I was going to talk about some of the combo builds. And there's actually a couple different combinations you can do when combining this figure with other sets at the time. So, just looking back in the instructions now to see the combinations, I believe this instruction manual only has one of those. Yes, it only features some of the instructions for one of the combo builds, called the Makuta Nui. I actually don't remember if this thing is canon, but it is a cool looking creature, which combines 3 different sets and integrates the parts to have some nice color scheme to it. A little bit odd with the brown and the not so dark brown, kind of the nougat color, but still an interesting reuse of all these sets. And I don't think they have the instructions in here. I don't see them in here that combines, but you can combine it and kind of works with the story for this one. You can combine this set with one I previously reviewed, 8596 Takanuva, in order to create Takujanuva. Basically, the good guy overcoming the bad guy, infusing him, and they become one being for a short while, and at least getting rid of this form of Makuta, because he's still around as just like this gaseous, kind of spirit kind of thing. It's not just confined to a body, is what I mean. Or even just confined to the mask. So that's cool that they integrate both of those, and to add this into two different combo model options. Now, I said before I was going to talk about how you can fix up Makuta so he's a little bit better. I can't say he's going to be 100% better, because if I did, I would have to take him apart and rebuild him completely from scratch, and I'm sure that would make things a lot better. But for some simple modifications, you can do the following. You just take some of these 3-bar or 4-bar Lego pieces and just very simply replace them with the 3-wide axles that are in the leg area, kind of towards the feet. So you can just push those out on either side. It really doesn't matter what color they are. I just have brown available for this video. I would recommend black. You could even put them in a light gray if you wanted to keep the color there. And I'm just talking just to stall for trying to fit this through here. There we go. So now you have more of a posable option when it comes to the feet. These can actually move more freely if you want to move the posability around. So I don't know exactly how far you're going to get with that because of the weird shaping of the legs as they are. I mean, it has because of those large pieces, but at least gives you more options for posing in, instead of just being confined to the fixed leg thing. Maybe it'd be a little bit better with those, because now he just wants to lean all the way back with the weight of the set. There's not really a good way to fit this where you could have a walking pose with him, at least something basic of a walking pose. I was really hoping for that, but I don't think that's really going to happen here. So, I'm sure, again, if you add some more customization to this, it will be a lot better. But I would say maybe fit like pistons on the back of here to keep balance and keep sturdiness. Or just put these pieces right back in there, because apparently there's not much else we could do there. But at least wanted to try the option with all of you and see what we could get to. It's a nice thought to, give them a little bit more posability. And as I mentioned before, you can take some of the blue axles. I'm not going to take them out for this video, but you can take some of the blue half pins, which are pretty common, and, ones like there, or even just take the ones that are from here on each side and replace them with some of the tans that are in the center. You can kind of see one right there, and one is sitting on the other side. So that way, you'll still get the sturdiness of the legs in the joint, that is, and you'll have you'll have more friction attached to the body, so it won't swing as much, because it really likes to swing. Likes to swinga about the Muna and the Juna and the Springa. Again, somebody's going to get that Looney Tunes reference. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this, and let me know what you guys think about this Lego set in the comments below. If you're a Bionicle fan, do you think they could have done another version? Because honestly, there really wasn't any other versions of Makuta after this set. They had like a combo model, which kind of had him, but it's like made out of other sets, so does it count? I don't know. But they probably could have had at least a better version of this, and I'm interested in what you've done or what you think could be done to make this a better model. If you're not a Bionicle fan, I'm just interested in what you guys think about this, just from the detail kind of standpoint and play functions and things like that. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos. There's still plenty of Bionicle on my channel. If you want to hear more about Bionicle from me, I'm sure I'll do more in the future as well. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos.